guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the new Diamond Select Toys. This is the Daredevil TV series release of Daredevil. So here's your 411 on The Man Without Fear. Daredevil was played in the TV series and continues to be played by actor Charlie Cox. His first appearance was obviously the first episode of Daredevil, which first aired in April 2015. To know how tall this guy stands, we're going to get our tape measure. Daredevil is actually exactly, maybe a little few notches short of being 7 inches in height. Accessories, he actually gets a fair share, one of which being a backdrop diorama featuring a flooring and back wall here. Looks quite good, very little assembly required, just take the wall and snap it into the holes provided on the bottom of the flooring. Flooring looks good, and you'll notice a couple of holes there that will play into effect the display stand also that he comes included with. Paint is generally actually quite nice on this. It's simplistic, yes, but it's just enough that you could have Daredevil displayed on the front and a couple of other characters as well. I mean, that gives you a fair large enough floor space. You can display several different figures if you want. He also comes with a display stand, and as I mentioned, the display stand, you can detach these, and there are notches, not only in the walls, but of course in the flooring as well. So you can attach the adjustable neck to those spots, and then you can have Daredevil either like leaping off the walls, leaping off the floor. It's really a neat looking effect. The only downside though, I'll put that right there, these are sectional. In other words, you can take them apart and just reconfigure them to any design that you want. But in many instances, the more links, the more basically knuckles that you have to the adjustable neck, the more fragile and unforgiving the neck actually becomes. Though a lot of times having the figures like floating or leaping using this, a lot of these times these will give way. I've found myself a couple of times now just taking a screwdriver and just tightening those screws as some of these have gotten loose. They do have ratchets, yes, but not nearly to the level that, especially this one right here, is quite loose, and I'm going to have to kind of just tighten that up again. I do like it. There's really no other ways that they could have gone about doing it, but these don't ever seem to be long-term for what seems to be their reliability. And then as well, he comes with just a regular circular display base if you want to make use of just the stand on its own. I thought actually that this stand was the same, or neck was the same, that we got with a couple of the Ghostbuster figures like the Library Ghost, but here's the Library Ghost. It's basically the same circular stand. They've just given us a lot less links, or basically they've given us one less neck. And again, like all of these are adjustable, so you can just kind of pull these off if you want and go about it that way. Just to also show you, we can detach this part. I'll put this to the side. Just move him to the side. We'll move his accessories out of the way. Just want to show you how this works. So you can take, for example, one part, just kind of slide it into that little hole there, and then with the adjustable neck, you can of course do this a little bit more planned out than what I've got here. But you can take the figure, and he's got a little peg hole on his back here, attach the back to the peg, and then once that's the case, you can just bring this around and you can kind of attach it like so. Again, the problem is there really isn't nearly enough strength for the neck to really hold on to it. These will get really loose, and it seems actually like the pegs aren't long enough because they will slide out of place. I get what they were going with, but it doesn't seem nearly as successful as I would hope. What they almost should have done was incorporate a couple of other pegs in random areas of the wall, small enough that you could have attached the foot hole to it, that you could have actually got a little bit more of a secure fitting. The neck is okay, the adjustable neck, but as you can see, everything sits really, really loose and it flops around a lot. Nice touch by Diamond Select, but it doesn't really hold up nearly as well as I think what they had planned. I'll go ahead and just take those off, reattach these, and just reattach it like so. Put that to the side. Straighten up here, Daredevil. There we go. And what I'll also do is just, I'll move the display base out of the way as well. We don't need to see that for the rest of the, at least this part of the review. Other accessories that come included with this guy before we get really a good look at the figure. Just get him to stand. There we go. He comes also with a pair of fists. Now, to be fair though, these are the fists that come included packaged with the figure. I've swapped them out, but he comes with a pair of closed fists. Doesn't really serve much purpose, but again, it's better than just giving us one pair of fists. The other hands, on the other hand, he comes with a pair of partially closed or gripping hands, which comes into play a lot better for his other accessories. Of course, he has the sectional detachable billy club. The two points connect together and you got yourself one solid billy club, or you can also detach them and he's got two of them. Reach around to the side of the figure. There's two holes on the side holster of his leg, and the billy club pieces can slide down into place. It's easier to actually put the parts in that aren't the silver ends, because the silver ends add a little bit extra thickness to the ring that it seems to be a little bit more of a struggle to get into those holster holes. Or of course, again, you can have the figure displayed with the billy clubs, probably more so what I'm going to be going with. As for the figure itself, I quite like this figure. And about the only thing that we have this to compare to, which unfortunately at the time of shooting this review I don't have readily available, is the Marvel Legends version of Daredevil, which I thought was a good enough figure, but one thing I didn't like was the head sculpt. This one I think is a far superior looking head sculpt, both sculpt and paint wise. About the only thing I would say as a nitpick to the face is, for some strange reason, I've got excess levels of pink, as hopefully the camera can reflect. Little pink areas that just show up across his face. It's jarring because it doesn't look like it should belong there. The side isn't so bad, and I'm sure this is just random across the figures. Some figures, if you pick these up in stores, may not have this. I guess I was lucky enough to have it on my figure, but especially like the little sunken in area above his lip. He's got this dark pink, and he's got some additional pink around the mouth area. It's too noticeable, and I find it takes away from the figure of enjoying it, because otherwise I really think the head sculpt is quite good. The body is also quite good as well, but yeah, I just can't get past the fact that he's got that little bit of pink that's been splotched across his face. The eyes are done quite nice, and sculpting of the hat is done and executed quite well. It's unfortunate that the face slightly ruins it, and not for the reasons of bad sculpt, but merely just additional paint that I think wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place. Like I said, the rest of the body all relies on... every time I see this outfit, I think to myself, it's the color of red wine. It's more like a burgundy color. It's not a very Daredevil comic red, instead favoring a much more dark cranberry red or burgundy, or in my case, calling it wine, the color of wine. It's got nice black panels there as well, both in the sleeves. He's got some additional striping, panel striping there, up the sides of the higher areas of his sleeve, leading them their way into the torso. He's got like these little couple of dots, these little notches here on his outfit, which I don't know if is supposed to be there, but I mean, it's so small. You can imagine while he's been fighting, maybe his outfit, okay, we'll go with that. His outfit has gotten damaged or scuffed up in the process. I like the updated take of this particular costume as a more modern take to Daredevil. There's the back of it right there. You couldn't have easily just given him a simply red outfit, similar to what Ben Affleck would have wore in the original Daredevil movie. I think it just doesn't look something that translates well to film, or in this case, to the series. I think they bridged the gap between more realistic armor and still something that looks like something he would have wore in the comics. So I like this outfit personally, and I think it looks quite good. About the only thing I would say falls short is the boots. I can't quite put my finger on it, but something seems off with his feet. The top portion of his boot doesn't look half bad, but it seems like the lower part of his boot seems almost undefined, like the laces don't seem as realized as the higher end of the boot. The lower half, these areas here, look almost more like shoes, and then the top portion here is covering over the boot. It looks jarring, and I don't know, something seems off, like the sculpt isn't as clearly detailed as the further higher parts of the boots. Got a little bit of brown there, so it looks like he's been wearing these boots for a while. A little bit also on the top there of the shoe. As a whole, again, I really like the design of the costume, and I think Diamond Select once again proves it for me that if you can save and hold off, unless you're a Marvel Legends guy, if you like Marvel Legends and you consistently want to get figures in that same scale and that same sort of design, by all means, knock yourself out. You can get yourself the Marvel Legends stuff. But in all honesty, I think holding off and waiting to see what Diamond Select releases in Marvel Select figures, I think you get a much better looking figure. Granted, you pay a little bit more for them, yes, but I think the trade-off, though, is you just get a better sculpted figure. This figure is night and day better than I think the Marvel Legends one. Marvel Legends was okay, but I think the head sculpt was poor. This one, on the other hand, I think the head sculpt is superior in its design. Posability on this guy, don't let the sculpt fool you. These are still superposable figures. You got your universal head hinge up and down, as well as your ball joint at the top of that. Universal joints on the shoulders, so those rotate all the way also around. He's got a swiveling, actually nowhere near on the bicep. However, he's got the joint that rotates at the forearm. He's also got the hinge there. Rotation in the hand hinges back and forth. He has upper torso ball joint. That also goes a long way for the way you want to pose the figure. Rotation in the waist. Split on the legs. Forward and back on the legs as well. A top cut swivel on the thigh. Double hinge on your knee. A swivel on the boot. Hinge back and forth. And initially I thought the figure didn't have any ankle arch or the means to have the ankle pivot, but further playing around with the figure, I see that they do incorporate a hinge joint, which one of the only other things I would have said this figure could have lacked in, but luckily that not be the case. The Diamond Select Netflix Daredevil figure is a great figure to pick up if you get a chance to find him. Initially feeling as if that display stand, coupled with the fact the adjustable neck really wasn't going to work, ultimately I did find that using the neck in its smaller configuration, in fact the smallest that you can still get the figure to look as if he's leaping from the wall or kind of running across the backside of the wall. So from that standpoint, I do have to kind of go back a little bit and correct myself by saying that the neck isn't adjustable. It isn't adjustable if you use too many links. If you use the shortest link, you can still pull off a fairly accomplishing look by looking as if Daredevil's leaping from the wall. That aspect of it makes a figure that already was good to start off with that much better. I probably would find myself even displaying the figure such as what you see right here, because I think the effect looks quite good once you can get around the fact that you got to use a lot less links to accomplish this. From a sculpt standpoint, from a paint standpoint, this is really a superior figure to what we got with the Marvel Legends. But the only thing I would say, and of course results may vary depending on person who's picking this up, but unfortunately I got a little bit of that pink paint that was across the face of my Daredevil figure, and I can't imagine that be the case with every single Daredevil that you find in comic book stores. I might just be lucky enough that it was just me. Great articulation, great sculpt. Once again, Diamond Select delivers an outstanding figure that I still think rivals that of what we get with the Marvel Legends releases. Daredevil, by the way, as the figure that we've been looking at, is currently now available in comic book stores, so if you guys are interested and like Daredevil the TV series, I would definitely say go out of your way, pick this guy up if you can find him, and you'll be one happy collector. Today, once again, we were having a look at the Diamond Select toys. This was the Daredevil Netflix series Daredevil figure. Certainly as well, if you guys haven't had a chance yet to subscribe to this channel, make sure you hit that little subscribe button down below and you'll never miss a beat when it comes to future videos. And if you'd like to also go back and check out some of my previous Marvel Select reviews, I've got a playlist here that you can go back and watch those videos as well. Going back and checking out the older videos always helps, because I always know when you guys are being able to watch some of my older content, because as you know with YouTube, as it always seems to go, a lot of videos that hit YouTube, a lot of times you guys may miss out. I've gotten some comments in the past where you guys have said, like, for example, could you review the Netflix Daredevil figure? Well, we're having a look at it today, but maybe a month from now somebody may ask the same question. So I would say as well, always make sure you're checking out my homepage and going to the tab that says videos. Scroll down that from time to time, just in case you might have missed something along the way. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.